TikTok is home to some of the most vitriolic wild people on the internet, but today I'd like to talk about one specific LOLCow, Tyler Catastrophe. So, I discovered who Tyler Catastrophe was on pure accident because my lover decided to explain to me what was happening on the interwebs. Tyler Catastrophe is not a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon. Tyler Catastrophe is just a regular guy who actively is just a LOLCow. Boogie2988, Burger Andy, to an extent Rebecca Black. Actually, what is Rebecca Black doing nowadays? Holy glow up, she's had a great glow. Okay, she's doing great. These people were considered LOLCows back in the internet. Outstandingly, Rebecca Black is doing fantastic. She's a musician now. She's performed with Katy Perry as well. Katy Perry's a bad person, but man, that's crazy. Those are people who I would consider LOLCows. People just laugh at them and they're cows on the internet because we just look at them, point, and laugh. That's basically how we view these people on the internet. As a matter of fact, even before these people on the internet, they would just get pushed to the side because back in the day, we had people on American Idol who just thought they were self-entitled.
A hero, people need someone to look up to.
Thank you. Randy.
I don't think that you're a solo singer at all. I think you're
I'm
more...
sorry?
I don't feel that you're a solo singer. I don't feel that you have a solo singer's voice.
I'm quite sure I sing a whole lot better than you do. And for you to tell me I need lessons?
Tamika.
Oh, I'm hurt. Late at night when all the world is sleeping, I stay up and think of you. And I wish on a star that somewhere you are thinking, is a story of life, or is this just fantasy? Going away, no escape from reality. Open your eyes.
So those people that I just showed you, you would think that they would just, have their moment on the internet and then they would leave. However, the internet has created a ecosystem of those exact people for them to actually succeed and be amazing. And that's basically what most TikTok stars are. People that were not supposed to be drastically famous, but we love laughing at them, pointing at them, and they get this delusion in their head that we're actually on their side. That's the reality of what's happening, and that's why Tyler Catastrophe is a catastrophe. So I should probably show you what Tyler Catastrophe is. So we're gonna go through Tyler Catastrophe's lies. Let's start there.
History is very large and complicated, which of course has a lot of downsides, but it does have the small upside of being related to a lot of dead famous people. Edgar Allan Poe, Robert the Bruce of Scotland, and apparently my uncle is currently mapping another family line. Now I know that I'm also 27 generations descended from King Edward I.
I'm happy this is your introduction to Tyler Catastrophe, knowing that they're related to Edgar Allan Poe, who famously had no living descendants, and the first king of England. I just wanted to get that out the way. They're related to a lot of stuff. Also, if you don't know, they're actually Portuguese, or from Portugal as well. They also claim that as well. Tyler Catastrophe also has Tourette's syndrome, apparently. I hate seeing my biological father in public with his fake service dog when I'm actually disabled, and know that if it was a real service dog for the task he says it performs, he would lose his driver's license and job. It's always something with that. He has Tourette's syndrome like I do, but he says he's for seizures. She isn't. Listen to tags down there. Though bought a vest and a random lot of patches on Amazon, and that dog is dumber than a box of rocks. It's so effing embarrassing. This is their Tumblr. I don't know where there are a lot of lies here for some reason. Tyler also writes for bands as well. Tyler writes their next singles, a lot of singles for a lot of bands. Another band that he claims to be friends with and is writing their next single also responded and said that wasn't true. Again, then they said, can we get a comment on Tyler Catastrophe claiming he's writing their song? Please, need to be true. Tyler was never in the band or produced any music. Only current members of SVS write songs for the band. I'm so sorry. I should show you Tyler's TikTok. That would make this so much fun. Let me show you Tyler's TikTok. This is Tyler Catastrophe's TikTok. At 100,000 followers, they are a haver of skills, maker of things, doer of stuff. Very buzzword millennial of them. Love to see it. They are disabled, as you can see in their sign, 27. They are a trans man, artistic designer, activist. Okay, love you, bye. This is how they end off a lot of their stuff. Now let's go a bit deeper into discovering what they actually have on their link tree. They have a GoFundMe where they wish to move out of Texas, where they plan to move to, let's say, England, right? Hi friends, my name is Tyler and I'm disabled. Transgender artist from I'm a disabled transgender artist from Oklahoma. Currently stuck in Texas. I've been having an amazing opportunity to move to England and further my art career. Considering everything that's currently working against my safety here, I'm doing everything I can to make it happen. I don't want to live in exhaustion and work in fear for the fear for the rest of my life, whatever life I have left. And I'm hoping that it isn't too much to ask. I am stuttering like crazy. So if anyone at all is willing and able, I would greatly appreciate any sense of support that could possibly help. This fundraiser help my bills, medications, updated documents, moving fees, plane tickets, and finding housing once I move. This opportunity means the world to me, and I hope that once I'm stable enough, I'll be able to help others as well. May we all be as safe as we possibly can be. I love you all, and I hope we all get to the other side of this decade in a better light. Thank you. Now, this doesn't seem too bad. They raised $16,000. Seems pretty chill, right? Now, as they had mentioned, they had this amazing opportunity to move to England. Now, what opportunity would that be? I'm going to show you the opportunity that they had. Please be ready for this.
I'm trying to move to England. There's a job waiting for me. It's something that I specialize in, and it'll give me enough free time to also focus on my own work and building my own name. And I'm super excited. So it's gonna be with my friends, and it's awesome. Because right now I have an incredible job working with amazing people in England waiting for me. And I just have to get. I just love asking for help on the internet. Because I found my dream job, and I got my dream job, but I gotta go to the dream job. And the only way to do that is to pay to get there. So I made this thing. See, I managed to land my dream job after years and years of working. I have a job waiting for me with a group of just incredible artists that I can't disclose, but it's been like a year in the making. I got to visit them last year when I went for my birthday. But the actual job itself will be in an art studio with a group of just amazing artists who run a nonprofit, and I'll be able to make things and just do all the things that I do for myself just on a larger level. Like I'm again a man of many hats. I'm a jack of all trades to the extreme, so I hope I get to do a little bit of everything. But like it's people that I'm already friends with. I give them tips here and there because just I want to be a part of it. I want to be involved. I like helping. So actually getting to like move over there, it's in Bournemouth, England, which is on the southern coast, right on the ocean, which is something I've always wanted to like live near the ocean. And because I'm from Oklahoma, I've always been landlocked. It's very rude. But they like make paints and like pigments and just artist materials that everyone gets to use. And it's just I'm overflowing at all times every time I think about it. But I forget. His name is Stuart Semple. I wasn't gonna say anything, but like whatever. And we've been friends for a few years now. And originally,
A lot of information there, so I'm gonna break it down for you. This person, this man right here, has a job opportunity in England with someone named Stuart Semple. Stuart Semple doesn't use a lot of internet. Stuart Semple is a very acclaimed artist, and Tyler Catastrophe here is claiming to be friends with Stuart Semple for many years and has an opportunity out there in England. So naturally, you would assume there was some dialogue, people talking, having conversation. You would just assume they would just talk to each other, right? That's nothing like that happened at all. Let's continue talking about what's happening here. Let's continue just watching the video for a second.
I got hit by a car, had to have surgery and everything, and that's kind of what got me into like actual art because it was right before the pandemic hit, so I had to restructure a lot. And when I was waking up from the surgery, I ended up sending a message to Stuart, like big long DM about how much I adored his work and how much I just adored him. And because I was still under the effects of anesthesia, my phone was not on airplane mode, it actually sent. And I wake up later, no longer under the effects of anesthesia, and realize he has responded to a text I have no memory of sending.
I would also like to point out at the beginning of his rant, he clearly stated, I can't really talk about the situation, and then proceeds to give every detail imaginable. These are the exact follicles on his foreskin. This is how big his belly button is. As a matter of fact, let me tell you the longitude and latitude of where he's at right now. I sent a text to him. It's a lot of information that is contradicting on top of each other, and this is a little bit interesting to see.
A couple years go by, we talk here and there, whatever. And then last year, for my birthday, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to England. I'm gonna take a vacation. And because I was working as like a manager at a steakhouse, I had like the money to do it. But I was gonna stay a lot longer. And so I was like, you know what? What's the best thing that can happen? And so I find his at the time scheduling director's email. I'm like, hi, this is me. This is who I am. Don't know if you know. Can I maybe come say hi? And, craziest thing can happen. They say yes. And so I am like in the country I've never been to, like 8,000 miles from where I was born, alone, just doing my own thing. And I get to spend a day in the studio with this artist I've looked up to since I was like 13 years old. And just the second I walk into the studio, I'm like, this is where I need to be. This is where I want to live. I did not want to leave. And just like the people who work there and just like the energy and just the place where it is, I'm like, I am in love. I'm never going to stop thinking about this ever. And I remember on like the train back to my Airbnb, I like messaged him and I was like, thank you so much for this. This is amazing. And he replies back, of course, you're one of us.
As you can see, their excitement, they're very jovial about the entire experience. They got this amazing opportunity. Stuart Semple offered them a job. You'd think it'd be all said and done. And that's why they made their GoFundMe, which I showed you earlier. Now, I keep claiming they're an artist, and I would like to show the kind of art that they make. This is very important to the entire story. I don't want to leave out this detail for you.
I am a beadworker who is not a recognized member of an indigenous tribe or nation, which is actually why I bead the way that I do. It's why I avoid beadwork with fringe. It's why I avoid the tight, repetitive beadwork that is often seen in native work. It's why I avoid traditionally native motifs like the 4 directions, and the bold, opaque color schemes that are often seen in native work. And if I showed you this necklace that was inspired by a couture designer, put it next to something like this and ask you which one was more likely to have been made by a white man, you'd probably say this one. I have a lot of friends who are indigenous beadworkers because we run in the same circles, and I do very much hope that if I ever crossed that line that they would tell me so that I could correct the behavior. But I've never claimed to have invented beadwork. This skill, this trade, this craft is ancient, and I only got good at it on accident. Because when I got hit by a car, My hands were the only part of me that I could move without hurting myself, so I accidentally got very good at this. Beadwork kept me sane during one of the hardest parts of my life, and even if it wasn't my goal in the beginning, it has become a career that I am distressingly proud of.
I would never knock someone's art, and the necklace designs don't look that bad, to be quite honest with you. They look pretty good. The bead designs look pretty chill, right? We're looking at $73, about $600 for a random assortment bundle, $84 for this one, $84, $4 for the stained glass PDF right here. You just buy the PDF is $4 right there. The flower patterns are $28. There's a little bracelet here. Part 1 is $28 a piece. $26. These are wildly overpriced. This special edition choker with a little ducky on it, this one right here, this is $75. This is wildly, and I mean this with my whole chest, ridiculously overpriced. The necklaces are running upwards of $800 to $900. This is an insane price margin. I have to respect that they are pricing like they have the pedigree of an artist of caliber to price that high in any capacity. As a matter of fact, this is so ridiculous in price that I'm surprised they're getting any orders, which they claim they've gotten thousands of. Anyways, let's get back to Stuart Semple.
And I think that just like cemented everything together because I was not going to stop until I was able to be there. And a couple years ago, I flew halfway around the world to meet an artist named Stuart Semple. With the help of the scheduling director at the time, I got to spend some time in the Culture Hustle studio. I made amazing friends, I helped work on some things, and it was the most inspired I had ever been in my life. I definitely did not want to leave, ever. Before this visit, during this visit, after this visit, me and Stuart had messaged back and forth quite a few times. I thought he was great. But then, of course, I got back to the States, realized I really didn't want to be there anymore, and I wanted to go back to England. So I took a chance, which is what got me to the studio in the first place. And I asked Stuart outright, hey, I need to be out of my current living place by this time. If I can get the funding together, if I can make a move happen, would you hire me? And when he said that we could probably make that happen, I was ecstatic. I was over the moon. And looking back, that really was just a positive maybe, but it really felt like a yes in the moment. But as we got closer to the time that I had given Stuart that I needed to move, all communication stopped.
One day, a famous artist and activist you've always looked up to will ghost you after saying he'd hire you, leaving you almost homeless, halting your career with a string of missed opportunities, and ruining your desire to paint.
I'm part of Culture Hustle, and obviously, I'm not. And I don't like dragging names if I don't have to, but some people were messaging me to guess, and I would rather be honest than allow speculation. My career was in a full upswing. I had just done my first solo exhibition. I was being handed so many opportunities. As stupid as it sounds, I was kind of a local celebrity, but I knew that my dreams were a whole lot bigger than Texas, and I needed something else. And after getting to go to England and visit the Culture Hustle studio and absolutely fall in love with the work they do there, and after looking up to Stuart Semple for like half my life, I asked if I could work for him, and he said that we could figure something out. And he knew that I had a deadline to make it happen, but once that deadline started approaching, he completely ghosted me for a month. But the closer we got to that deadline, the less I got. But eventually I just went around him to his assistant, and she was kind enough to give me the no that I needed. Actually, fuck Stuart Semple. I've been so incredibly pissed off at the way this man fucked me over for over a year, and I don't like being angry. I traveled 8,000 miles to spend a day in the Culture Hustle studio, completely fell in love with it while doing what was actually free labor now that I think about it. And then he starts looking for a new assistant, and I'm told to apply, so I do. And then when I don't get that job, honestly really glad I didn't. I'm not made to be someone else's assistant, so I ask him point blank, hey, can I have a different job in the studio and I'll just move to England? I'll raise the funds myself. I gotta be out by this date. Could it happen? And he said yes. So what do? I put my career on hold, sell basically almost everything else I own, start turning down opportunities thinking I'm gonna be in a different country when they happen. Doing the work because I go all in or nothing. And what does he do? Fucking ghosts me. Months where I was getting him opportunities with even bigger artists, because in my head we were friends. What the fuck? And while I'm being actively ghosted by this man, he posts on his Instagram story, replying to someone asking for a job, telling them to apply. But you can't answer me. And eventually I get so fucking fed up and out of my mind that I have to go to his assistant and be like, hey, can you just fucking tell me if this is happening or not? And she's like, no, I'm so sorry. We hope you have a good life. And I'm like, fuck off.
So from everything I'm hearing, this Stuart person seems like a very evil person. You know, if I weren't listening and using my actual ears, eyeballs, and my cognitive thinking skills, I would actively say, yeah, you know, Tyler Catastrophe, you deserve to be out there in England and work that way. Now, how long have you been wanting to move out to England? For many years, Tyler has had this hyper fantasy of moving out to England. Let's talk about the backward stuff. God, I'm saying words so crazy right now. The backlog of Tyler's Tumblr is absolutely asinine. Let's go through the first one. Best case scenario, I fall in love with the creative European who does the creative things I want to do. They fall in love with me and know I do stuff they want to. We learn from and encourage each other at every turn. We share citizenships, live in Europe somewhere, do cool stuff, and are able to travel the States when needed. True power couple with an uninhibited joy when it comes to our togetherness. We go to aquariums and concerts and museums and theme parks. We eat good food and get as silly as possible whenever necessary. Life is good. We are happy. I never have to tell another person I live in Texas ever again. Manifesting. There's nothing intrinsically wrong with that statement overall, to be quite honest with you. It is very fun to talk about your fantasies online and what you want to do. That's very simple. But I can understand immediately that they've always wanted to be out of the States and will do anything to make sure their delusion of thinking they can leave the States at any point in time comes to a reality, even going as far as to make up an entire thing about this Stuart Semple story. Would anyone on Greek Tumblr, specifically those who live in Greece and speak Greek, be at all interested in having an LGBT American friend who is looking to move to Greece in 2024? Because I would really like to have a Greek friend as I learn Greek and figure out how to immigrate across the ocean. I am very serious about this. I know that Greek is having similar problems to the US right now, but I've weighed the pros and cons and I've set in my course. I want to build a new life for myself in the country that has called to me my entire life. I've never seen a Greekaboo before. Never really seen that. Actually, no, I take that back. Anybody that's read that Greek Gods of Olympus series on oh my god, webtoons. I think those people are exactly the same way when it comes to being a Greekaboo, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think Tyler, he obviously wants to move to Greece, and I respect that initial drive. Did you also know Tyler was one of the good white people? You probably don't know that. Let me talk about Tyler's one of the good white people that's different from the other white people. One thing I hate about being white passing, insane statement, just gonna start right there. Just gonna state, if you say you're white passing and you are just white in general, I don't know why that you have to say that. You have to be some specific variety of white. You don't have to do that. You can just be white. It's okay. It's fine. Is that I feel so incredibly separated from the culture that I could be a part of. Could be a part of if people didn't assume I was white or that I was lying when I tell I'm actually half Portuguese. You can be half Portuguese and still white. That's a real thing. You can still be white and half Portuguese. You can just accept both. Like my siblings and I have the exact same parents. My little sister looks Hispanic, and I'm a carbon copy of my pastry redheaded mother who went to Mexico as kids for a family reunion, and Border Patrol tried to accuse us of smuggling my little sister over the border because of how dark she got in the week. We were there while my brother and I burnt like lobsters, and I had just been talking about that disconnect with my friend who is Mexican, and people assume she's Asian for whatever reason, so she gets it. Using a lot of race buzzwords here. So many race buzzwords were said. It is crazy. It is nuts to see this many race buzzwords just kind of spitfired at me all at once. So, I'm gonna give you a quick synopsis of what's happening so far. Nothing is Tyler's fault. As we can see so far, nothing is Tyler's fault. They're very toxic positive where, hey, you don't have to be this way. It's okay. Where they actively demean you with their positivity in the way that feels reprehensible in most course of actions. That's how they're doing things. They're using big words to sound intelligent and smart, or using fun, positive language to make it seem like you are actively wrong. And it's even worse on this aspect for one reason alone. A lot of times they'll use their trans identity in a way that's weaponizing their trans identity, as if every criticism that is wailed against them or levied against them is simply by virtue of being trans. I don't care that Tyler is trans. They can be trans all they want to. He's a cool guy. He's amazing. He's trans. That's fine. But you're a horrible person. Not a horrible trans person. You're a horrible person is what you are. Because you have no self-evaluation skills. You have no ability to accept that you may be at fault in most situations here. With the Stuart Semple situation, they couldn't accept the fact that Stuart Semple... Oh, by the way, I'll show you Stuart Semple's response. Let me show you that real fast. So Tyler actually did meet Stuart Semple. This is Tyler. This is Stuart. Years ago, Tyler swung by. Nice bloke. Visited the studio. Isn't a job offering, just to clarify. Stuart never offered a job. Just want to point that out. And then, this is what they made. This is their bead. You can see it on Stuart. You can see it on Stuart's hand. They made the necklace right there, right? I swear it was an unpaid internship at best. It wasn't even that. He asked me for a job, and I was trying to be nice and said if he ever made it back to England, we could talk about it. He spent less than half an hour with me. He was really lovely, and I wish him well, but sadly, there was never a job offer. Certainly nothing that should have made him sell all his belongings and plan to move halfway across the world. I hope he is okay. This is such a measured and leveled response, and then Stuart Semple goes on this hate tirade saying they hate... And then Tyler Catastrophe goes on this hate tirade saying they hate Stuart, saying, you lied to me, you did all this stuff. No, you misinterpreted not a definite yes. That's a very important thing about consent, actually. You need a definite and enthusiastic yes. Tyler, you have to learn what consent is, because you can't just imply consent when someone didn't directly state it. That's what you gotta do there. It's very important. Did you know that Tyler Catastrophe had a stint with OnlyFans, or more so wanted to collab with an OF content creator, but then got rejected and got very mad about it? Now this is very fun, because this is very fun. I've never seen a trans man who is an incel. It's very interesting. I hate when I shoot my shot on a work-based opportunity with someone I know and respect, and they dance around the answer instead of just telling me yes or no. Like, yeah, sure, you don't want to hurt my feelings, but I'm a grown man, bro. I asked you to consider me for a collaboration. Why would a no hurt my feelings? There are so many ways to say no in a kind and considerate way, and yet you've chosen to string me along for a year, and you expect me to sit around and wait like tomorrow's gonna be the day you say yes? Grow up, dude. Judging on Tyler's past interactions so far, I can pretty much surmise that maybe the person did say no, but Tyler misinterpreted that information and proceeded to just continue down that path. That's a little bit interesting to me. I think Tyler is a very interesting creature. I could go through every single thing Tyler has done and all this stuff, whether I talk about the fact that they said that they don't get paid from TikTok, they're just doing it for a love of the game, how they get mad that people think they're getting paid from TikTok, and they also complain about the fact that they don't get paid in their videos a lot of the time because they don't read the requirements and they have to use specific language to get paid. I could talk about their abnormal love of Wilbur Soot, who is a known physical abuser, by the way, and how they are very obsessive about Wilbur Soot, then deny being obsessive about Wilbur Soot. I could do that, but there's a better video on that. This man right here, Denki Jabo, just did a very lovely video on the entirety of Tyler Catastrophe. It's 2 hours long if you want to spend some time doing nothing, or maybe you're at work, you need a longer video than my video. This person did an amazing deep dive of what Tyler Catastrophe is if you want a deep dive on these specific situations. I'm going to talk about my thoughts about them though, because I think it's very important to do so. I have encountered a lot of people that act exactly as Tyler does. They have this grandiose sense of purpose where they believe that they are the greatest thing to ever be invented since sliced bread. They say, oh, I knew the Queen of England, and my uncle has a weed farm out in Europe, and he's actually amazing, and I'm also part Russian and Gaelic and Nordic, and I have a deep family history. There are a bunch of people like that. You usually see them in the alt scene and people that are highly disillusioned with life, so they create this grand fantasy narrative about their origins and where they come from and all they've ever done, and they've met millions of famous people and all this stuff, and they're never wrong about anything. It's interesting to witness because it's delusional. Tyler cannot accept the fact that they are wrong. Sorry, he is wrong. I know someone's gonna get me on saying they. I know someone's gonna say they is actually misgendering on purpose. I can hear it now, so please don't comment that because you're gonna piss me off. Tyler wrote for a bunch of bands. He talked to all these famous people. He is a great artist. He's two-spirit. He's Native American. He's a special kind of white. He's a virtue signaler. Tyler is a virtue signaler. Tyler is a person that wants to be unique and different and creative so bad that he is doing everything in his power just to be different. And it's okay to just be yourself. It is fine to just be Tyler. You don't have to be Tyler Catastrophe. I'm Tyler Catastrophe. You don't have to do that all the time. You can just be the person you are. My biggest issue with the entire thing is the love we have of Lolcows. A lot of Lolcows are perceived. My eyes burn right now. I need to put my glasses on. My eyes burn. I have 2 ring lights and they're always in my eyes and it hurts really bad. I gotta figure out a way to make this easier on my eyes. I don't know. Anyways, let me get my thoughts about Tyler. I think back in the day, there used to be something almost fleeting about Lolcows. It's a lightning strike that hit the internet once and everything came up in this chaotic glow. Remember Rebecca Black's Friday and everybody made fun of that? And then it disappeared before you could process what you watch. People would laugh, feel a little uncomfortable, maybe feel a little guilty, and then people would move on with their lives. It never stayed long enough to build a home inside the culture. It was embarrassing, it was messy, it was disgusting, it was a spectacle that burned fast, and it wasn't any deeper than what it was. It was an unspoken understanding existed underneath that this is a moment and not a movement, right? Something temporary that would naturally fade into the background. You can't feed or maintain it and turn to a lifestyle. But I think a lot of what happened is that it lingers now, right? That lingering has changed everything. People such as Tyler Catastrophe have created this deep lingering. Once something stays, it starts growing roots, and once it grows roots, it starts attracting people who see themselves in it. For all the people that insult Tyler for being trans and, oh, you're actually not a he, you're what you're born as, all this stuff, people saying that, there are people that see a connection in that, because as many haters as Tyler has, they're probably going to have a lot of fans. He's going to have so many different fans. People who don't just watch but attach. People who don't just laugh but they'll just defend everything what it is. A passing moment turns into a strange ecosystem. It happened with Eugenia Cooney. Eugenia Cooney had this entire thing happen. It happened with Boogie 2988. It might even happen with Burger Andy. It happens with so many people who have an embarrassing moment on the internet and everybody's saying, oh, he's a bit, he's a joke, he's ridiculous. And then becomes more than that. That's what happens. It's just weird to see. It's nasty. I don't like it. The energy shifted from observation into this deep participation. Because we would just watch this back in the day and say, oh, they're clearly delusional. But now we can participate in that delusion. The line between being watched and being supported began to blur definitely. And there's something oddly human in that shift to me. It feels almost beautiful in a raw, weird kind of way. It feels strange because people once isolated suddenly find themselves with others who understand them, who speak their language, who validate their existence, and they were getting ignored and laughed at. And that connection has a warmth. There's a fragile glow. That nice message is going to do that. It's strange. But I think that's where it stops being beautiful. That's the whole beauty ends right there. The warmth doesn't stay pure. That same space that creates connection also feeds something dangerous. An inflated sense of self where being seen turns into being important, and being important turns into being above everyone else watching. You're not a better person than me. You're not morally as good as me. You're not this. You're not that. Well, I respect black people. I think they're beautiful, but you know, I never date a black person because I need a European long-haired Dracula type person. That's what I need. It's the entire thing, and that feedback loop gets stronger. That becomes addictive. The attention becomes addictive. A line between reality and performance will dissolve into the person at the center starts believing the version of themselves only exists because the internet keeps watching. Catastrophe is showing this clearly. Every moment is a tug of war between wanting out and wanting validation. Visible discomfort with their own situation mixed with a desperate attempt to rewrite it into something grander and more meaningful. A constant reaching and insistence that they exist on a different level, connected to something bigger, not just another person struggling through life, but someone elevated, special, separate. And that separation is going to become their armor, and that's how they do things. I gotta go to Europe, I gotta do this, I just connected with Semple, and I'm amazing, and my art is so good. It's convincing yourself you're different enough means you don't have to confront where you are now or how you got there. The internet feeds that belief with every comment, every view. I have 100,000 people that love me. I have this. Every reaction that keeps the cycle spinning. Survival is going to turn to this performance. That struggle is going to turn to content. Oh, this struggle is amazing. It's so good. It's so great. And that's going to keep going. And identity is going to turn to something that you have to maintain at all costs. If you step away from that addiction, that attention addiction, it's impossible to a certain point. It really is. Because that pain underneath, you can still feel that desire to escape, that need to be somewhere else, someone else, live something else, living a life that doesn't feel like the constant loop of exposure and judgment, and this forced self-definition shows up in how they talk and how they build their narratives about how being connected to powerful people are being fundamentally different. I know all these people. Edgar Allan Poe, the first queen of I know this, I write for these bands, trying to build a ladder out of words and climb out of their own reality without ever stepping off the stage. That's weird. I think eventually all this laughter is going to fade, and what's left after all the laughter is a long drawn out moment that never fades. Someone stuck performing a version of themselves the internet refuses to let die. Someone surrounded by people who either feed the illusion because they want to laugh more and make fun of it, or tear it apart piece by piece. Both sides of this keep the machine running over and over again. The person at the center is a permanent fixture of the internet now. That's what it is. Catastrophe is a catastrophe. That permeance feels heavy. It does. The audience participates. They shape. They extend the moment indefinitely. Nobody knows how to let things end anymore. I'm talking about you, Dragon Ball Z. You never learn how to do things. Nobody knows how to look away. The spectacle keeps going because stopping would mean admitting something uncomfortable about why you were watching at the first place. So you just let it go and get worse until you have enough legitimate reasons to destroy this person. And it's going to make their delusion worse. And I think that there's going to be an exhaustion that's eventually going to set in with this. Not just for the person trapped in that center, but for everyone watching too. You realize you've been following the same story for years with no resolution, the same patterns, repeating the same arguments, cycling the same pain visible underneath everything, never addressed, never resolved, just performed over and over for an audience that's tired but can't leave. That's the new shape of the internet. It's something that lingers, festers, and grows roots and refuses to die because too many people have invested too much of themselves into keeping it alive. The Lolcow doesn't stop being a Lolcow. It's just gonna keep going. It's gonna keep going and going and going. Anybody ever looked up what Boogie 298 is doing? He's doing something. He's just doing stuff still. He's still here. He did something 2 weeks ago. He's still asking his audience for money. He's still just doing his stuff. And what's crazy is that he could turn this into a really nice situation. But I don't know if Boogie has the ability to not lie about his life. He claimed he had cancer, claimed that he was getting better and all this stuff. I'm not sure he could possibly do that. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't consider a Catastrophe situation to be specifically unique. I don't. There are hundreds of people like Catastrophe. The bigger issue at large is the fact that we keep letting Catastrophes exist. We keep allowing this to happen over and over again. And that's the worst thing about the entire situation, is the fact that we love this. It's our favorite thing on the planet. We love watching people make fools of themselves, destroy their entire lives, because it's entertaining, it's fun. Oh, look at this person, they broke their leg. It's what happened with America's Funniest Home Videos, where people would get hurt. It started there. It all started there. AFV, America's Funniest Home Videos. Sometimes people would construct situations in that variety because we loved it so much. Oh, look at the little kid get hurt. Oh, look at this guy fall on ice. I've never laughed at people getting destroyed physically. It's insane. And now we get to watch people get destroyed mentally. It reminds me of, recently, a lot of people have been telling me, with the Saikuno situation that happened, that, mental abuse isn't as bad as physical abuse. As my wife has instructed me and told me, it is the same areas of your brain. Same areas of your brain that get affected. Same areas of your brain that get affected. So when it comes to physical pain and watching emotional pain and watching mental pain and watching mental anguish, it's probably the same areas of your brain that are getting affected. You just love watching it. I don't know what it is. We're watching the gladiator pits of the internet obviously be coalesced over and over again, because we just are pigs when it comes to entertainment, and we enjoy this stuff over and over again. It's pathetic. It's very sad and pathetic, and I hope that one day we'll be rid of this. We'll be done with all this. But until then, I guess we'll just keep watching. In any case, thank you guys so much for checking out my content, my channel. Hopefully you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm out. Peace. Bye.
I'm your Nick at night, be my Laura low. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you